Hey. Grr. How did I get into this mess? That's far enough. You can't run forever. Mr. Phoenix, right? Oh god, it's a giant judge. What have I done wrong? I cannot allow you to go on like this. I'm just a simple defense attorney. Silence. You are no longer worthy of your title. I've had this dream before. Someplace, some time ago. As if today was written something. Oh, today I'll stand in court as a lawyer. I didn't know it's still all uprising. To prove a killer innocent. March 23rd, 9:43 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Beep. Hello, this is Phoenix, right? You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right? Oh, man. If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just me, your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict, too. Now listen up. You better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag and not guilty, I'll never forgive you. Ever. My, Phoenix? Mia. Maya. How's Maya? I don't know. Don't know? She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday. Mia, what am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to face your biggest smiles. Force your biggest smiles. But you can't give up. There's still some hope left. Stop it, please. There's nothing left. Not here, not anywhere. And a cursed on guard. Will you leave me alone? Do not call me anymore, I mean it. You really mean, pal. Gumshoe, sorry. Where are you? Hey, let me join the investigation team and we're chasing after the killer, pal. Then you have some sort of lead? Sorry, but right now we've got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not gonna give up. Gumshoe. Till the trial's over. Till the verdict's handed down. We're gonna do everything we can to find the killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get on guard the guilty verdict he deserves, pal. I could do that if they found her first. Got that? So you had to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer. Have to make it last longer. If you get out Mr. Edgeworth for everything you've got, then you two can draw it out. Oh, now I get it. I believe in you, pal. You and Edgeworth can do it. So, believe in us, we're gonna give it all our all. And we're gonna give it all we've got, just like you. Got it, thanks, Gumshoe. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Yeah. Looks like we're coming to the end. I have to make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through. I know it. Today I'm the District Court, courtroom number 3. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ongard. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being what exactly was Miss Adrian Andrews' role in the murder. That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that drew suspicion onto Matt Ongard. and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. And you're saying that she's guilty after all? I am not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? Looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Yes, Juan Carrera was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client so to speak, is Matt Ongard. What a surprising turn of events. I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time, so I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can. Stop reading my mind, you prick. Just shut up. I don't like you. I don't know why. At least until Maya is safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please. Okay. I'm, Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action star. And what is your relation to the defendant? Well, that's... I guess I'm a sort of lousy mentor to him in a way. Mr. Powers, please. You don't need to put yourself down so much. Oh, sorry. Well, but I'm kind of a nothing sort of guy. On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct? Yes. I didn't know that. But you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify when you went to Mr. Ongard's room. Okay, sure. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night and I couldn't make him wait for me. Nothing sounded out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony. And talking with the bellboy isn't a big deal. If one assumes that the person Mr. Ongard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy, what are you implying? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation. Huh? A trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just gonna have to charge in head first, right? After the award ceremony, I went to Matt's room. The defendant's room? Why go there? Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother sorta, and I wanted to say congrats. What's wrong, miss? Why did you stop? Mr. Rat? What is it? You're gonna try to trick me into a corner, aren't you? I know I'm just a poor underpaid action star, but... I'm not the killer. No one said you were, Mr. Powers. No, please don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy. Every time. Witness, I will personally talk to the defense at a later time. So for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony. Sorry. So you went to the defendant's room, and then? He was standing there. Are you sure it was Matt Ongard? Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the mask. If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. And? What was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room? Talking to somebody. What do you mean, at first? Well, he was in a bellboy-ish uniform and had a bottle of juice on a tray. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me. Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. And why is that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Sorry, I can't remember right now. I guess I'm gonna have to wait patiently on that one. Gave up and went back. You saw the two of them? The bellboy and the defendant together, yeah? Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? You know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. A tip? That's normal. So how long did you watch the two of them? Not more than a minute or two, I think. He had guessed with me. So who are these guests you're talking about? You guys, of course. You and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway. It's like squeezing water from a stone. It's pointless to press further. Do you remember the incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember. Maya was making such a racket in her hyperstate. Ended up focusing on her. I see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. I pressed everything, so this is weird. Oh, something's different. I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt gave the bellboy a tip. Could it be you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? It has new dialogue from an old press? What the fuck? Ha, yeah, that's it. You really know your job. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he? Perhaps we should let the witness tell us. Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony. Bailiff, get my water. I'm dying. All better now, continue. You mean about the bellboy, right? Matt gave the bellboy a tip. Yeah, that's a whole thing. So he gave the bellboy a tip? What's weird about that? You see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. How much it was. But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow. It sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. Let's keep with the tip for now. The defendant's a huge star. He can afford to give generous tips. Wouldn't you agree? Sure. But giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think. A little too much? Would you please clarify for the court about how much would you say the defendant gave to the bellboy? Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess. Why is that? Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash. A roll of cash? Well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it? A very fat roll of cash. That can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious. We're fine. Nothing really to object to here. I mean, who can argue that a fat roll of money isn't really odd? So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Payment. Isn't it obvious? For the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida. Then that bellboy the witness saw. Yes, he was the assassin. Hold your horses now, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't have any proof of this, do you? Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley the killer left at the scene of the crime. Shelley the killer? He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I'm certain that the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley the killer. Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head and I think I just figured something out. Oh? Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night. What? Mr. Powers, testify, tell us what you saw. Yes sir, right away. This time I was in that hallway because I had to get to the bathroom. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. So he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean... I'm going to press I mean, and it will make me happy. Thank you very much, that's all we need for now. Huh? But I'm not done. There's still more. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. the Killer. Then we shall see. So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious. That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. This is no laughing matter, don't shit your mouth. It's in the hallway, need to go to the bathroom. And what time was it? I don't remember. The award ceremony ended around 8, right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that, and then came back. And then I went to the bathroom. So I guess maybe it was around 8:10? You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers? Who's looking at a clock whenever they're at an event? Sorry. I thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats. Are you sure it was the same bellboy? Yeah. And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all. But you see, he had these stitches in his face. So I'm sure it's the same guy that was talking with Matt. So which room did the bellboy come out of? Juan Corrida's. The victim's room, huh? Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, alright. Words cannot describe how screwed I am. Let's continue with the testimony, shall we? The bellboy did seem kinda out of place. But there's not I mean. So what exactly was so out of place about him? Right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's gonna say next? Well, the bellboy was empty-handed. Empty-handed. That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you? I agree that it is a bit strange, Mr. Powers. But is it really that weird for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Pull out a fast one. You got it, right? You can take a hit. There's nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy. But there is. There isn't. If you two are done being school children, bellboys are for room service. There is no reason for them to be empty-handed. Ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one. Are you gonna do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious? Very well, this court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could amend your testimony. Yes, sir. Guest, come out of the guest rooms empty-handed. So you're saying that it's suspicious for him to be empty-handed? Yeah, really suspicious. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray in his hand. And then there was a bottle of juice and a wine glass on it. Juice. Kind of juice. Pretty sure it was tomato juice. If we could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge the bullet on this one for now. Proof, huh? Sounds like another job for the court record. Well, he left the juice in there, along with the glass. Which was then filled with tomato juice. Why? I don't know, but they did, Mr. Powers. Yes? You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been a killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true. But isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and... So, a baseball has stitches? Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches? Yes, thank you, logic puzzle. You're doing great, go back in a textbook. Huh? Well, there's also, I mean, what about him being empty-handed? I would like to ask the court to please take a look here. This is the crime scene. There's a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Corita's body. The liquid inside of it is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what is on top of the table, anyone can clearly see that it's a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Corita's room. He left a tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. But that would mean the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. Can you prove that he was already dead at that time? Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? I blame you for leading me down this route. I'm terribly sorry. What is with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like to share with us? Is there? The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-handed? I recall you had something interesting to say about his hands. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Huh? What? That bellboy, he was wearing gloves. Gloves? Yeah, pitch black leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right? Black leather gloves. Why didn't you mention them earlier? Sorry, it slipped my mind. Boy, does this make the bellboy look really suspicious or stylish. Alright, gotta focus. I can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves. Come on, Mr. Wright, that bellboy was wearing black leather ones. And a football's made of leather. Are you saying all footballs are suspicious because they're made of leather? Get your time-traveling toaster, get out of here. But that man received a large roll of cash from the defendant, and then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. It seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest? Oh yes, tell us more. Okay. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went on and knocked on Matt's door. He gave something to the person inside the room, Then the old guy just left, without even going to the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and back to my seat. So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, next went to the defendant's room. Yeah, I kinda saw all that by accident. Some accident? I say you saw too much. And all of it was suspicious to high heaven. I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Yeah, Your Honor. After leaving the room, is that what you saw while you were busy spying? Excuse me? I may be a poor, underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying. I think the point is, where did you watch all this from, Mr. Powers? Oh, from the door of the bathroom with my left eye, in a sort of sneaky spy-like. I knew it. Please, does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know. Gave something to the person in the room. I said hold it. Okay. That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details. Oh, okay. I should probably ask him one more question at a time. One question at a time. What's this something, man? He gave something to this person? Yeah? And what was this something? If I remembered what it was, I wouldn't be calling it a something, would I? This implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can't remember, Mr. Powers? I think it was something kinda small. This is an incredibly crucial piece of information. Please try to remember what it was. I'll try. In the meantime, let's talk of another point, namely, what the bellboy did next. So after he gave the person inside the room the thing, the old guy just left without even going into the room. But what if I go back and do more holding here? Same dialogue. So who was inside? So who took this something the bellboy handed off? Actually, I don't know. What do you mean? Sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. Only an arm? And you're saying you didn't see the person's face? Yeah. I would like to summarize the testimony up to this point, if you don't mind. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm. Yes, it was just like that. Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important? Of course, Your Honor. I think this is of the utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was that the bellboy handed off. Let's see. I think it was... no. If you remember, please add it to your testimony. Yes, sir. Some sort of wooden statue? Was it this? What was the point of that pregnant pause? Where did that objection come from? Speak up. It was me. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad's gonna happen once I show this. Mr. Rat, if you have something to say, split it out. Yes, Your Honor. Deep breath. Mr. Powers, the something you saw. Was it this? Oh hey, that's it. That's the something. Hey, Mr. Wright, you've really figured it out. I recall we found this at Matt Onguard's mansion. At the defendant's house. What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shelley the killer assassinated one Karita in his room, and then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. then the bear being found at Mr. Onguard's mansion would mean. It goes without saying, Your Honor, that Matt Onguard is the killer's client. Order. Mr. Rat, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you. Yeah. Sorry, ma'am. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. Yep, he knew about it too. I think it is clear that there is no need for us to continue this trial. I cannot let that happen. Gotta do something. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please. Yes, Mr. Rat? There are still a few points left we haven't fully explored. What are you trying to pull? Well, we can't have that. Alright, what questionable point would you like to explore? The bear. I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is questionable. The bear, Mr. Rat? This was found at Mr. Onguard's mansion. However, Mr. Onguard was arrested at the hotel that night, which means that since the murder occurred, he hasn't had a chance to go home. Oh. I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to get to. It's not possible that it was Mr. Onguard who took this bear to his mansion. Ah, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Rat. There was no way time-wise for the defendant to have taken this bear home. Okay. You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Rat. Eh? I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Onguard's mansion. We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. Can't believe it. That butler. All this time he was the killer. The killer and Onguard were working together, so to speak. And the killer was hiding at Onguard Mansion, as its butler. What a bold move. The bear figurine was brought back to Onguard Mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Onguard had him do so. I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. This is too much. There isn't anything I can attack, is there? I've got to try. Find something else. What will you do now, Mr. Rat? Do you plan to... I plan to expose the clearly shaky police in Mr. Power's testimony. Huh? There's another one? There is. And it's quite a questionable point. What are you trying to pull? Oh well, we can't have that. Alright, Mr. Rat, what questionable point would you like to explore? Who got the bear? There was one other thing in his testimony that was very unclear. And that is the identity of the person who received the bear. He gave something to the person inside the room. I only saw their arm. As long as we don't know who it was that took it, we can't be sure if... Ah. What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're going to scream like that, then at least give us a good reason why. Oh yeah, sorry. Actually, so I remembered. I remembered who took the bear. Really? I mean, I only saw his arm. But the arm... It was the Nickel Samurai's arm, I swear. You've gotta be kidding. Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers? Yes, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai. Order. It looks like you've dug your own grave yet again. How many times is that? I've lost count. So the person who took in this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And as we all know, Matt Onguard is the Nickel Samurai, but there was a spare costume that's magically fucking vanished. Thanks to the defense, we've made all that all the clearer. I think we've heard enough. We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion. as well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his room. Everything has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Matt Ongard. I see no reason for this trial to continue, therefore I will now hand down my verdict. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright? You couldn't win against the truth, could you? I knew it would turn out this way. What Edgeworth has stated is the truth. Any last objections, Mr. Wright? But Edgeworth also knows that Maya is being held captive. What's his game here? Do I? What should I do? Object. There is only one way for me to drag out this trial. It's a bit of a dirty trick, though. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at Ongard Mansion. However, it's possible this is all the work of a certain other person. What are you saying? What I'm saying is it's possible a different person is the killer's real client. The real client? Yes. Is this all you have? Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who do you say the killer's real client and therefore the real murder? The only person that we can possibly throw under the bus at this point is Miss Andrews because they had the arm thing and costume. Adrian Andrews? Yes. We already know that she tried to frame Matt Ongard for the crime. By wearing a spare Nickel Samurai costume. Then, the Nickel Samurai's arm I saw. That could have been Miss Andrews. But what about Mr. Ongard? If you would please recall yesterday's testimony. The defendant was taking a nap during the break period. That's right. Then, finding his figure at Mr. Ongard's mansion. It was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this? I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic. Besides, there is no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. What is with this trial? Can't believe the defense. Yeah, unbelievable. It's not something petty, it's murder of all things. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me on this, this is one fight I can't give up on. Order. All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom. Your Honor. For the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game. His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? He's right. The killer did specially bring that bear to Ongard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews. And who would that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself. I see. Well then, the court will take a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, no safe position. This is actually a short recess. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage. Don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you tried to pin the guilt onto Adrian. Yeah, this man's gonna pay. Mr. Nick. Pearls? Where's Mia? I don't know. A really strong power suddenly called her away. Really strong power. Mr. Nick, your phone's... It's from Gumshoe. How's it going? Have you been hanging in there, pal? Yeah, sorta. We just barely found something to latch onto. Phew. That's good, pal. And what about you? Anything yet? Have you figured out where the killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We do not have any more time. If we just had one, even a single clue would be really helpful. I was only able to come this far because I kept thinking to myself, I've got to keep the trial going until Maya's been rescued. But have I just run out of luck this time? Is all our hope for naught? A tent. Huh? Tent? I could see a circus tent. Mia. It looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away. She's locked in a dusty little room right now. But I could see a circus tent outside the window about 300 feet away. Gumshoe, is there a circus in town right now? There's only one, pal. The Very Big Circus. Maya's somewhere within a 300-foot radius at the main tent. What? Hold on a sec, pal. Hey, draw a circle on that map about 300-foot radius around the main tent. Hurry. And? I could see a mailbox under the window just outside. Gumshoe, there's also a mailbox. Okay, what else? What else, Mia? I'm sorry, but it was a very small window. I couldn't see anything else. It felt like I was in an old office building, maybe the 3rd floor or so. I heard her, an old office building. Good stuff, pal. Okay, just hang in there, just a little longer, pal. Wish us luck. Good luck. I'll call you later so you don't let your battery die, okay? Mia, Maya's not hurt, right? She's in a pretty bad state, Phoenix. She's being starved. Gumshoe, please hurry. Looks like we're out of time. Are you alright, Phoenix? It's only a matter of time before Maya's rescued. I can do this. Just have to make this trial last a little longer. That recess wasn't very much fun, Judge. Court will now reconvene. The killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to his client. From this, one obvious question arises. Why this particular item? I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the name of the real culprit. Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of murder. I understand. Very good. Now, have you ever seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? Of course I have. You have seen it before? That's right. It's only natural that this witness has. Miss Andrews, could you please enlighten the court as to this bear's secrets? Alright. Why does she... Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. At its center is a small cavity with just enough room for a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. So this figurine, it's a container of sorts? Yes. Looks can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree? Yes, this is superb craftsmanship. I've nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Rat. Looks like there really was something into that bear after all. Bear. It's a puzzle. A puzzle? That's right. But it looks like an ordinary figurine. True enough. To people who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess that this was a puzzle. So what kind of puzzle is it? It's a thing. Take it apart, piece by piece. So you can take it apart, and how would one go about doing that? Well, you first turn its tail to the right, and then push it in. Oh yes, I see. After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed. Oh, this is most interesting. A boy and his new toy, it's like he's 5 all over again. Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on. I think he's lost it. So, what do you find after you take the puzzle apart? There's a cavity. And how do you know about this? I know because I was the one who bought it. Huh? It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland. Then this was a present from you? That's right. It was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for one. So it was a present from Miss Andrews. Witness, let's continue with your testimony. If you don't know the order, you can't get it open. So who knew how to solve it then? Only the 2 of us. Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland. So I doubt there are that many people with the same bear in this country. But this looks like it can be easily broken. Especially if someone wanted to get at what's inside. Well, it is a toy. But it can never be the same again once it's been broken. It's a jewelry box. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container, or jewelry box? I never told anyone. And as long as Juan never told anyone either, then only the 2 of us knew. The 2 of you, huh? Then of course that means Mr. Ongar didn't know, right? This is about all I'm gonna get for now. Figurine updated. Well, Mr. Wright, I think even you have come to realize that there is one very important fact we've uncovered, and that it is this. The bear is actually a jewelry box. Now that we have agreed to that point, there is only one logical question that can come next, and that's this. What is inside of this box? What's inside? That's right. That's what we are going to find out next, Witness. Yes? You are the only one who can open this. Please. There's a painful silence hanging over the courtroom. All eyes on Miss Andrews now as she solves the puzzle and takes the bear apart. I've opened it. Is this what you wanted? What's that? It looks like a note. I don't think we need to guess what that is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note. The suicide note? The suicide note left by Juan Carita's former manager, Celeste Pax. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden. Hidden by the victim, Juan Carita himself. It seems Celeste Pax had very beautiful handwriting. And she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is definitely the note she left right before she committed suicide. Order. Witness, did you know about this? Yes, I heard all about it from Juan. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it became public, but I couldn't find it anywhere, because it had already been taken by the killer. Everything's going at Mr. Edgeworth's pace. So now that the suicide note has been found, what's the next logical question? What's written on the note? That's right. At least that's what I would think. Now then, I believe it is only appropriate the contents of the note be made known. I can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it. I was going to burn it for her sake. I'm deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to persuade me to stop. Your Honor, if you could please read the contents of the note aloud. Very well. The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her note, Celeste Pax left us a record of all that had happened to her. About being used and thrown away by Onguard. About being engaged to Carita, and Onguard's role in destroying that. And about how she decided in her despair to end it all. And that's all Miss Impax had to say. There is one thing I would like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. Ongard. Then what? Our intention, Your Honor, is to establish a motive for murder. Isn't that correct, witness? Yes? On the night of the murder, Juan was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference. My word. Matt Ongard values above all else his refreshing like a spring breeze image. Which is why he had to stop this note from being made public. At any cost. The note has been added. Hooray! It's Ongard's fault the woman killed herself. And this type of act, how terrible, what a selfish person. I guess there are slimeball lawyers out there who will defend these creeps too. There is no room for doubt here. Mr. the Killer's client's goal was to obtain this suicide note. And the only person who needed this note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with the note inside was found at the defendant's house. It seems we have come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone. How am I supposed to escape this one? Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you have to do. I know. I have to carry on and buy him some more time. Okay. There are two deadly pieces of evidence, the figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of this situation through one of those. Gavel is already in the judge's hand, Phoenix, hurry. Suicide note of the figurine. This note... Please wait, Your Honor. Oh man, look at that lawyer. He's still going at it. It's like he doesn't care that he's trying to get a killer off the hook. I think Your Honor believes that Matt Ongard killed in order to obtain this note. Yes, that is correct. But that seems a little strange. In fact, I think there's a contradiction here. The note was hidden by Mr. Corrida until the night of the murder. If that is the case, I say Matt Ongard could not have known what was written on the note. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Exactly. But I did think of it that way, and I thought it was rather strange. No one in their right mind would kill for a note without first knowing what it said. Order. You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? It was just a flash, but I think I did rather well on this one. Unfortunately, I think he believes differently. I believe a show of appreciation is in order. Huh? The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon itself. I would like to direct the court's attention to this. What's that? It's a very small video camera, Your Honor. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying. Spying? What the? I thought that spy camera was in my possession. Matt Ongard and the victim both thought of the other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses. And? The victim, Juan Corrida, was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt Ongard. Order. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? You don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities. Well, sorta. Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright. I see you're confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking, but I had that camera that was in the stuffed bear's eye. But this camera that I have isn't the same one. Last night, I searched the victim's house on a hunch. Using this. Gumshoe's bug sweeper. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera. Matt Ongard's fingerprints were on there. Well, Phoenix, Looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? What am I supposed to say to that? I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Mr. Ongard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. He got me good this time. I don't have anything to counter that.
Hey, now what's that lawyer thinking? Mommy, is that man the bad killer guy?
Gosh, stop it, don't look at him. The way he's sweating's just so, ew, nasty. Phoenix? Yes, Chief? Have you figured out what you're going to do next yet? What am I gonna do next? Does running count? I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to pulling the lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one very important thing. What is it, Mia? There's a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. Something he should investigate? I would really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had a chance. Why are you speaking in riddles? Alright, I think this time we finally understand everything. Well, Mr. Rat, you don't have any further objections, do you? What is this piece of evidence that Mia's talking about? Can I figure out what it is that still needs to be looked at, or should I let it go? Yeah, sure, there's something. I have an objection, Your Honor. That was about the weakest objection I have ever heard, Mr. Wright. Objection! Your Honor, the defense has no intention of letting this go so easily. You're beginning to sound desperate. That's just your imagination, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, this is not like you at all. Huh? In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Hey, isn't that what I just said? Shut up, you read my mind. So you just stole it from me first, because I thought it first. So you're telling me that I forgot something. You are so close, Mr. Edgeworth. But there's something you really should examine about this piece of evidence. The only thing that's new is this note. So sure. That's Mrs. Impax's suicide note, right? Who knows? Is it not signed? I mean, sure, this suicide note was found inside this bear. But this bear was in my possession until only a few moments ago. Which means the handwriting on this suicide note has yet to be analyzed. Oh. As if handwriting analysis is actually a fucking... So, as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impax or not, that is yet to be even remotely confirmed. Mr. Wright, you can't seriously be... Mr. Wright, are you saying this suicide note's a fake? Miss Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. Ongard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into the bear? How dare you? Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There is no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever. But if this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. What? Recall the witness's testimony concerning this figurine. The only person other than the victim who could solve the puzzle is the witness herself. Miss Andrews, you wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Matt Ongard. I did no such thing. Right, if you're going to pronounce this suicide note a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory. Mr. Edgeworth, you were the one who presented this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, prosecution. That's enough. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting on this suicide note? It is as the defense has stated, the handwriting has yet to be analyzed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we have reached a point where a verdict is impossible. That's impossible. This isn't good, Phoenix. The judge is going to carry the trial over one more day. And I don't think Maya will physically be able to make it another day. I did not want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I request that both the prosecution and defense further investigate.
Handwriting analysis my butt, it's just a lawyer trying to buy more time. Unguard's guilty, look, any idiot can tell you that.
I think we've reached the end of the line. Guilty, 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 guilty. Wow, they did it for all 9. Good for them. What is that sound? It's Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe? Eh. What's with him? What's with that sigh? Where's Maya? What happened? He got away.
What? Sorry, pal, I really am. I don't know what to say, besides I'm sorry.
I wish there was some way to make it up to you. I really do. Anyway, what's going on?
We found his hideout, pal. But the 2 of them were already gone. This is terrible.
Gonna keep looking for him, pal. Don't you worry, I just need a little more time. But don't tell me we don't. We don't have any more. Guilty, guilty, guilty. X9. Do you hear that? They're calling for his head. Mr. Rat, I can't... For us to come this far and... Oh! What is it? Let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. Can't do that. Mr. Rat, would you please get a hold of yourself? Yes, Your Honor. I'm about to end today's proceedings. You may take your phone calls after. Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch. Mr. Edgeworth? Please, you gotta buy us some more time. Court is in session. I'm sorry, Your Honor. You were saying? Mr. Rat, this is a court of law. Sorry, Your Honor, but... I am reluctant to do this, however. It appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow. This time I really can't do anything. Court is now adjourned for today. What? Please wait, Your Honor. Edgeworth? What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time. For what purpose? We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time. But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes? I believe we can, Your Honor. But wouldn't it be better if we adjourn for today and then reconvene tomorrow? 30 minutes. Please, Your Honor, that is all I'm asking for. Please, Your Honor. Very well. At the prosecution's request, the court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised that I will not allow another recess today. I'm not sure this is helping or hurting. The court will now take its final recess of the day. Right, well, what's going on with the Maya situation? The killer, it looks like he got away again. 30 minutes. We can't find her in that time. Report. Is that Mr. Edgeworth? We don't have time, just spit it out. Rat. It looks like we just missed him, sir. But the killer left a few things behind by accident and has rushed to get away. A few things? Can we use any of them as evidence? Oh, I thought you'd ask, pal. I got the things you left with me right now and I'm on the way over. Really? That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first. Don't have time for wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to... I'm sorry, but we gotta put the law on hold for now. That sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in too much trouble. If I hunk a junk car and say I'd be there in about 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Alright, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, sir. I'm pulling out all stops and running over red light. Items left by the murderer. Maybe there's something among them that'll be decisive enough to end this. Did Gumshoe just crash his car into the courthouse? What's wrong? Did Gumshoe just crash his car, period? Shit. Detective Gumshoe, answer me. I'm okay with the top answer, I'm not okay with the second answer. No one can stop me. What happened? It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What was he thinking? We've gotta hurry and call for help. We have no idea where he is. His cell phone's broken and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get to those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. Can't let that happen. Well, if there is a way we can find out where he is, then we stand a chance. Why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident? Is there any way to find out exactly where he is at this moment? Sure there is. Actually, there really is. Because Gumshoe has a tracker on him. There is a way. How? I'm sure we can find out what Detective Gumshoe is through this. I don't think it's evidence. God, there's so much evidence. Fun karma. Why are you bringing up Francisca at a time like this? See. I'll try to get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all we have. Francisca. Will she even want to help us? Edgeworth? What is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client's guilty. But what I'm doing now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say Defense Attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears. Whether you did your job well or not, that can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict? Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, Bailiff? There's a phone call for you. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. I have to go take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. Woo! I imagine that this is the last save point before, you know, the big one. We'll see that next video. Yeah.